Today my topic is predictive modeling and optimization of 3D printed facial materials using machine learning techniques. So we all know that the solar, basically solar energy, when you are installing the solar energy thermal collector, whatever it may be. So there is some problem with that solar energy system. The main problem is so this distribution of solar energy is not in the even form. It will be random in nature. So because of this random in nature, so we need to provide some kind of storage devices. So basically we need to install the different types of storage technology. So first one is sensible heat storage technology and latent heat storage technology and thermochemical storage technology. Okay. So among all, sensible heat storage technology is most familiar and it is very simple in nature. We all know that energy will be stored in the form of either in sensible heat storage and latent heat storage. In the sensible heat, let us take some container of water. So the mass is having 10 kg. Okay, it is having some specific heat capacity and we are heated from 30 degrees to 90 degrees. Let us assume that. So what is that sensible heat storage? It will be MCP delta T. We all know that. So here, that heat storage may be stored in the form of sensible heat, so that it will be directly proportional to the mass quantity of the material, and also it will be directly proportional to the specific heat capacity and temperature difference. Okay. So the problem with the sensible heat storage devices are, we want to store a lot of amount of heat, so that is very difficult. And it requires a lot of volume needed. Suppose if you go with the latent heat storage device, it will be stored in the form of latent heat. Okay. And also there is one more technology is available, thermochemical. In the thermochemical technology, so it was acted in the reversible reaction. Okay. So let us say one reaction is happening. So A and B, the two products are having. So these two products are mixed together, and if you apply some heat, it will be converted into another product. Okay. If you make the reversible action, so let us C and B combine together, and same amount of heat will be released. So that is the thermochemical energy storage device. In this thermochemical energy storage device, the main advantage is, so we can store a lot of amount of energy. Okay. And it is commercially is not available. It is in the still research development stage. So there are some certain limitations are there. The materials compatibility of thermochemical storage device, and some compatibility issues are there. Among those, so latent heat thermal storage techniques having the best storage device. So here we can store in the form of latent heat, right? So basically, these thermal energy storage devices are classified into two ways: so physical storage and chemical storage. Again, this physical storage will be classified into sensible heat storage and latent heat storage. And in chemical storage, so it will be again classified into sorption and chemical reaction. Okay. So our topic is mainly focusing on the latent heat storage technologies. So in this latent storage technologies, the storage medium what we are using is the phase change material. So the name itself indicates that phase change. So here the phase change will be occur from the solid to gas, or solid to liquid, and liquid to gas. Okay. And solid to solid also it will be possible. But we have to mainly focus on solid to liquid and solid to solid. So why? Because if you take solid to gas and liquid to gas, so when it is comes from the form of gas, so the gas will be having the higher volume. So there is a storage volume issues are arising. So that's why we need to focus only on solid to liquid and solid to solid. Again, in solid to liquid, there will be classified into organic phase change material and inorganic phase change material and eutectic phase change material. Okay. And in solid to solid range, So it will be, what are the heat you are giving, so the phase will be transferred. So like it is having different kinds of phases like alpha phase, beta phase, gamma phase and delta phase. So it is in the solid form only, but only alpha phase, it is converted into alpha phase to beta phase and beta phase to alpha phase. Like that only it will be happen. And coming to that solid to liquid phase, again it will be classified into organic phase change material, inorganic phase change material and reductive phase change material. So what do you mean that organic phase change material? So organic phase change material is nothing but it is a carbon structures. So it is consisting of carbon and hydrogen structures will be having, and inorganic phase change material, it doesn't have that carbon structure. Okay. So and coming to the last one is reductive combination. So like we can mix together, like we can take any organic to organic phase change material, we can combine together, or else inorganic to inorganic phase change material we can combine together, and sometimes some combination like organic and inorganic combination also we can take it. So that advantages we will discuss in later. And so these organic phase change materials, so basically paraffin waxes, okay, esters and like fatty acid, alcohol. So these are comes under organic phase change materials. Basically these phase change materials are having the lower melting point temperature. And coming to that inorganic phase change materials, so like you can take any salts and all, and the salt hydrates, metallic compounds and metal alloys, it will be comes under inorganic phase change material. Okay. So majority of phase change materials will be considered in solid to liquid phase transition material. So these phase change material again further will be classified into based on the temperature range. So based on the temperature range, it will be classified into low temperature and medium temperature and high temperature. So low temperature means the melting point temperature which is below 220 degrees, so that is called low temperature phase change material. If the melting point temperature in the range of 220 to 420, that is the medium temperature application, and if it is above 420 degrees, so that is in the high temperature application. Okay, so all organic phase change materials will be low temperature applications only. If you want to go with higher temperature, so organic materials it doesn't withstand for that high temperature operation, so we have to go with the inorganic phase change material. Okay, and some combinations also we can take eutectic phase change material. So the advantage of the eutectic phase change material is, so we can get that my required properties. So let us take, so I having organic composition of melting point temperature 30 degrees and another phase change material organic phase change material temperature is 50 degrees. But I need 40 degrees melting point temperature. So what I can do? So I can mix together. With different weight fractions so that I can achieve my desired melting point temperature. So not only like melting point temperature, we can get it any other thermal properties also, like thermal conductivity also. Desired thermal conductivity I want to get it means I can make that reductive composition. So coming to that phase change material, so most favorable one is sensible only. So in that durability, so lifespan of sensible heat storage devices are around 20 years. Okay, but coming to that latent heat storage devices, it is a lifespan of 5, and the chemical, if you go with the chemical storage device, it is having the lifespan of 2. Okay, but commercially viability, so commercially in our market, so most used technique is sensible heat storage devices only, and the intermediate range it will be comes under latent heat, and in chemical storage devices are like it is in under research only. It is not completed commercial point of view. And coming to that storage density, if you want to store more amount of energy, so the more amount of thermal energy storage I want to store, so basically I can go with the chemical storage technique, and second one is that latent heat, and third one is the least one is go to the sensible only. So these are the various types of phase change material in the organic and inorganic phase change material. In the organic phase change material, the most highest latent heat value it is went up to 350. So basically sugar alcohols like erythritol, mannitol. So these sugar alcohol having that. This is also like organic phase change material. So it is comes under 350 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so coming to that inorganic phase-change material, so salts you will having the highest latent heat capacity. So we can take sodium chloride, potassium fluoride. So these are comes under higher latent heat capacity value. So what are the advantages and disadvantages of organic phase-change material? So first advantage is it is having very less supercooling. So what is mean the supercooling? So supercooling is nothing but suppose I have a melting point temperature of 50. So I just heat up the material. So at 50 degrees, once it reaches the 50 degrees temperature, so my PCM was changed its phase. It is converted from solid range to liquid phase. So when it is comes to the solidification, so it is reversal process. So it is not exactly up to that 50 degrees temperature. It may be comes down. It may be went up to 40 or 30. So that the temperature difference between the solidification point and melting point is nothing but supercooling. Okay. So this is a serious issue for thermal energy storage devices. So I need to reduce that supercooling effect by including that variant types of nanoparticles that can be possible. And another thing is that ability to be incorporated directly. Okay, so these organic phase-change materials it is compatible with the material. Okay, so it is when it is stored in any material, so it is not corrode the material. But in the case of organic phase-change material, so basically salts are highly corroded material. Okay, if it is exposed to the metals, it is highly corroded. So then, and it having a good thermal performance, and there is no segregation effect. Okay, so if you preserve for some period of time, so it is still in the solid form only, it is not separated up. And chemically stable. Okay, so if you operate the phase-change material with different temperatures, so it will be chemically stable. So the chemical structure doesn't affect it up. So that is the advantages. And it is having the high heat of fusion value. So my enthalpy value is very high and safe and non-reactive. Okay, and also it could be recyclable. And what are the disadvantages? So coming to the disadvantage point of view, it is having very low thermal conductivity. Okay, so the main problem with the phase-change materials are low thermal conductivity. So how it will affect that? How it will affect to that thermal energy storage devices? Okay, suppose my thermal conductivity is very less. So obviously it is having the higher thermal resistance value. So when you are supplying the heat, it is not able to quickly absorb the heat. Okay, whenever you want to retrieve the heat, it is not quickly release the heat. So that is the main problem. So whenever choosing the material should be having the higher thermal conductivity. So that is very important. But unfortunately, this organic phase-change material having the lower thermal conductivity, and it is easily burned. Okay, so most of these organic phase-change materials are like so flammable materials. So flammable material it is burned, and also it is having lower enthalpy value and lower density, and it is requires large surface area to expose. Then only I can able to store more amount of heat. And also, so high heat transfer rate are required during the freezing cycles, and volumetric latent heat capacity is very low and flammable and more expensive, and it is having the low heat capacity value also. And coming to the inorganic phase-change point of view, it is having high thermal conductivity as compared to the organic phase-change material, but still it is not up to the mark. And it is also having a large heat capacity value, and it is having lower volumetric expansion, and it is having the high heat of fusion per unit volume and less costly, and it is non-flammable. Okay, but organic materials are when you are using in real-time application, that is flammable, but inorganic materials are not flammable. So that is one of the advantages. And the very short temperature. So melting point is very short. So let us take my melting point temperature is 30 degrees. So in this 30 degrees, to exactly meet the 30 degrees, so your phase change will be happen. But coming to the organic phase change material, so there is two different points will be there. Onset phase change point will be there, and offset phase change point will be there. So it is taking plus or minus 5% some deviance will be there. So but inorganic phase change material exactly it will reach to the melting point temperature. It will shortly melt up and solidify. Okay. and it is greater phase change enthalpy, so delta H value is very high, and it is also recyclable. And the main problem with that inorganic phase change materials are, it is super cooling, okay, high degree of super cooling. So my melting point temperature is different and my solidification temperature is different. Okay, so that is not possible in the organic phase change material, but inorganic phase change material, it is what's happening. And it is also lack of thermal stability. Okay, so lack of thermal stability and lack of thermal reliability. So what is mean by that lack of thermal stability? So the lack of the thermal stability is nothing but, suppose, so I was continuously heated up and cooled up. So once I complete this heating and cooling process, so that is called as one thermal cycle. If you do more thermal cycles, so like 500 thermal cycles and 1000 thermal cycles, if you repeatedly, so obviously your properties are degrading. Okay, so let us take thermal conductivity. I'm taking, so that value is 1.5 watt per meter Kelvin. So if I do 1000 thermal cycles, obviously my thermal conductivity is not in the same exactly. It will be obviously some degradation will be takes place. So that is nothing but lack of thermal stability. So that is the main disadvantage of inorganic phase change material. And here phase segregation also happening. Okay, if you preserve for some period of time, so some phase will be segregated. And it is having some weightage also. Basically, these having the high density phase change material, and also it is having the corrosive nature. Okay, so that the main challenging task is the corrosion. Okay, so when you design thermal storage devices, so mostly it is made up of the metals. If you keep these inorganic phase change materials in the metal container, so these metal containers are slowly corroded. But if you preserve organic phase change material, it is not happening. Okay, but corrosive nature will be happen in inorganic phase change materials. Okay, and prone to degradation. Okay, if it is operated with higher temperature, so my properties will be changed. That is also another problem. And chemically unstable. So like different operating conditions, so different operating temperatures you are working. So my chemical structure sometimes it will be varied. Okay, it is completely deviated. So that is the main problem. And compatibility issues, I already told that corrosive nature and requires containers and support. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of inorganic phase change material. And coming to the eutectic phase change material, so there is a advantage is we can get the desired melting point temperature. Okay, so we have a different data sets of phase change materials. So if you want to get the desired melting point temperature, so let us already know that eutectic phase change material. So I just want to get desired temperature like 45 degrees. I want to get it. So I have a materials of 40 degrees melting point temperature and 50 degrees melting point temperature. So I want sharply 45 degrees melting point temperature phase change material. I want to get it means I just make that eutectic combination. So I can get it. So in the eutectic combination, I will get that desired condition, and it is having that high volumetric thermal storage density, and there is no phase segregation will be affected. And the main problem with eutectic combinations are there is a lack of data availability, and it is also having very less latent heat value, and sometimes it is severely affected with the supercooling effect, and it is also costly. So the basic thing is that if you take any phase change material, the biggest problem with the phase change materials are low thermal conductivity and leakage issues. Okay, so leakages means, so when it comes to that liquid state, so it is flowable in nature. Okay, so I can't preserve in the solid form. So it is in the liquid form only. So I need to be arrested. So I need to make that arrested. So I need to arrest that leakage issue, and meanwhile I need to improve the thermal conductivity. If I improve the thermal conductivity, so obviously what will happen? So my charging time will be reduced, and the meanwhile my discharging time is also reduced. That will be possible by enhancing the thermal conductivity of phase change material. So there is a different approaches are available. So we know that film concept. Okay, so fins, if you incorporate the fins to the phase change material, so obviously the surface area will be extended so that my thermal conductivity is improved with the fins. And there is another technique, encapsulation. Okay, so encapsulation is nothing but your phase change material was enclosed with some kind of shells. shell material. So these shell materials basically made up of metal objects. So if you enclose with a metal object, obviously my facial material thermal conductivity significantly improve. So that is the one method. And also we can incorporate various nanoparticles. We all know that. So metal, if you take that metal nanoparticles, if you synthesize up to nano level, so obviously your properties will be improved. So we have a different nanoparticles, so like carbon nanotubes, graphene nanoparticles, and silver nanoparticles. So these are having the high thermal conductivity. So if you mix to the facial material, obviously thermal conductivity will be improved. And also we can incorporate the facial material in the metallic forms. Okay, so foam-like structure like porous structure material. So if you put that facial material in this form, so obviously thermal conductivity is further enhanced. So these are the thermal conductivity enhancement technique. So I already told that in the addition of nanoparticles, so carbon nanotubes, so it is like nanostructure, and it is like chain-like structure will be there. Okay, suppose if you mix the nanoparticles to the facial material, the particles is having the bond with the nanoparticles. So the in between the two particles of facial materials, so your particles will be settled, and if you send that any heat, so it will quickly transfer to the neighboring particle of facial material. So obviously, so your thermal conductivity is improved. And also we can mix to the graphene nanoparticles, and meanwhile we can mix the silver nanoparticles also. These are the different nanoparticles we can mix up, and we can get the desired thermal conductivity value. And most important, another technique is expanded graphite. So the commercially now it is available expanded graphite. So this is a one kind of carbon structure itself. So basically it is available in an expandable range. So once you heat it up, it will be expanded. So it will give some pore structure. Okay, it will create some pore structure. So this pore structure material, if you mix to the facial material, then I can get that thermal conductivity. I can improve the thermal conductivity. So why these carbon structures are very familiar? Why? Because you know that among all, so carbon having the highest thermal conductivity. Okay, so that you know that diamond is the highest thermal conductivity. So diamond is what? So carbonation. Okay. So all carbon material, so having the higher thermal conductivity, so that is the one technique. And metal forms, if you mix that metal forms, so like nickel foam, copper foam, and graphite foam. So these are like porous structure materials. So if you mix to the facial material, further we can improve the thermal conductivity. Okay. And also we already told that encapsulation. Let us take that shell. So outer shell is made up of the metal. So inner core will be facial material. So the metal has a higher thermal conductivity, so that significantly my thermal conductivity will be improved with the encapsulation technique. And other techniques also will be available. So we can mix the silicon borate and spongy graphene. So that is also further improve the thermal conductivity of facial material. And so apart from that, so what is the self-stabilized facial material? So self-stabilized facial materials are, so like even you are heated up the facial material, it is converted into liquid, but the liquid will be completely locked in the foam, completely locked in the porous structure material. So it is trying to escape, it is trying to leakage out the facial material, but because of this porous structure, it is completely locked. So even after melting point reached, so it is not flowable. So it is the liquid facial material is not flowable. It is still settled in the solid phase only. So we have a different types of porous structures are available: mesoporous structure, microporous structure, macroporous structure, and hierarchical porous structure. So porous structure is like based on the diameter of pores. Okay, each porous structure having the different diameters. So with my pores having the higher diameters, like if it is in the millimeter range, so that is nothing but macroporous. So basically foams, graphite foams are comes under this category. And mesoporous is nothing but like nano range. Okay, so nano range. And micropores are even lesser, in the range of 1 to 10 nanometers range. So and hierarchical porous structure is like type 1, Okay, but the product structure was prepared with the step 1. So if you mix these product structure material, so we can design that safe sterilize. So there is a two techniques for making the PCM into safe sterilize. So one is encapsulation technique and mixing the product structure material. So what is the encapsulation? The PCM was core and it is completely enclosed with that some cell material. Either this cell was made up with organic material or inorganic material or metal contained parts. And coming to the power structure material, so this in power structure material, we are the liquid phase seal material, we are poured into the phase seal, liquid phase seal material, so that we can make that safe sterilized phase seal material. So here and now in these two techniques, so I can get high thermal conductivity phase seal material, and the meanwhile I can address the leakage issues. So coming to the application point of view, so where we can use this safe sterilized phase seal material. So you know that, so lithium-ion battery cells. Nowadays we are using the lithium-ion batteries. So when you go with higher charging rates, higher discharging rate, so these lithium-ion batteries are releasing a lot of heat. So this heat I need to be removed it. I need to be cooled properly. Otherwise the batteries will be exploded. So this is what actually happening in the nowadays in the wall batteries are failed because of that they are lacking the thermal management of batteries. So these phase seal material techniques, so we can effectively incorporate to the thermal management of battery systems. So you know that there is a three strategies: active battery thermal management system, and passive thermal management system, and hybrid thermal management system. Active, you know, so either we can cool by that air coolers, okay, or else we can send that liquid, we can send that some oil, we can send some water, so we can cool the batteries. So that is the active method. But this active method is actually power consuming technique. So we need to choose some other alternative. So obviously I can prefer with the passive technique. So in the passive technique again, there is a two methods are available like heat pipe solution and phase seal material solution. So in this PCM material, I can go with the pure PCM or composite PCM. So in the composite PCM means I can mix some particles. I can mix some power structure material so that I can improve the thermal conductivity, and meanwhile I can make that safe sterilized phase seal material. So that is the one thing. So nowadays these lithium-ion batteries, the phase seal materials are it may be 3D printable. Okay, so we have a different options. So for printing the material, so fusion deposition modeling, you know, commonly you know, and laser centric techniques also we know. So these slabs and all, the beds and all, that can be printable. So what I'm doing, so I'm taking the phase seal material, I just convert it into liquid form. After that, I just mixed with the power structure material. So once it is safe sterilized completely, then that material I just taken into 3D printing option. Okay, so let us take one example. So this is the 3D printed battery thermal management system. Okay, so here actually graphite foam I'm taking as a power structure material. So this has mixture with the phase seal material. So once the preparation is done, so I just printed to these kind of molds. Okay, in these molds we can put the batteries over here. So even your charging rate is more, even your discharging rate is more. It is rejecting the heat. So your phase seal material is quickly absorb the heat and stored in it. Okay. So whenever the batteries are not working, so now it is not in the operation. So obviously at the time it releases the heat to the surrounding. So likewise we can shift the thermal. So we can shift the thermal energy. Okay, so whenever the heat is coming, at the time it is absorbing. So whenever the operation is not happening, at the time it is released to the surrounding. Okay. And nowadays these phase seal materials are very familiar for that for like thermal effect also. So we all know that PV cells actually it is absorbing the solar radiation and it is giving the electrical energy. It is converted into a form of electrical energy. So what actually happening here? So basically these PV cells are made up of semiconductors. Okay, so basically these semiconductors are, if you operated with above the standard operating point temperature, so my PV cell it gives a very less efficient performance. So like there is some standard number will be there. So my standard operating temperature of TV cells is around 25 degrees. If it is above 20